So Jared, it was
Yes.
Mother's Day yesterday.
Yes, it was.
Seeing how we both have the same mother,
Yeah.
we were celebrating together.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I didn't end up doing much help. It seems like you did a lot of it, and Lucas yeah.
I orchestrated it all. It was, yeah. I can't cook much, but it was one thing I can do. So I'm like, oh, I'll do this then. And yeah, I got to make up for it somehow because I'm the last one on the accident. So I don't have the built-in golden child whole situation like you do. So
right.
you know, so I gotta do whatever I can to
stand out.
Yeah. Actually, a side note, when I was leaving, because I was one of the last ones to leave our parents' house, and sometimes when I'm there, they ask me like, "Hey, can you take the trash?" Because we have a lot more room in the trash at my house for it. So I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I took their trash and I just sat in my back seat, and then when I got home, it's pretty late at that point, and I was really tired. And then the next morning, yeah. So this morning when I got into my car, I was like, oh crap. So my car smells like garlic and all kinds of other stuff now that I don't know how long it's going to be like that. I left the windows down, but, whole separate thing is the driver's window does not go down. So I can only have the 3 other, but anyway, so yeah, that was, unfortunately, that's how tired I was. Apparently, I didn't realize it. Yeah, that's a little aside, but no, it was
it's a good time.
Yeah,
it was
a good time.
Yeah, it was interesting because it was mostly just the siblings there, which was crazy.
Yeah, we normally have a bigger
group.
Yeah, of
other
family
people and other family, but
no, yeah, it was smaller than I thought it would be. Yeah,
but it was good.
Yeah, it was nice.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time TV, a podcast where we discuss the latest streaming shows and dive into some, and others we just discuss more surface level and things we've been watching. Also, where you can get the weekly show Based or Waste.
Yes, that's right.
So currently we are discussing The Last of Us Season 2. But first, Jared.
Yes.
I want to thank Sal Saperstein.
Okay.
For making this podcast possible.
Yeah.
All right, so my name's Josh, and this is my co-host, Jared, if you haven't figured that out.
Haunted and empty, just like us, right?
That's right.
I always figured, I'm like, I could just, if I don't find one from the episode we're actually covering of a quote, then I'll go elsewhere. But
that one was pretty good.
That
was too good to pass up.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course. From the studio, yeah, we'll talk about that.
But yeah, before we get into what we've been watching, I think we have a little more feedback again.
Yeah, we just have a follow-up email from our dude Kyle again, and
after my long rant about what I did.
Yeah. So he asked about what I do as well. I'll be very brief because it's not as impressive as
whoa. Well,
as the golden child.
Well, you had a career as a musician.
Well, still trying to have a career as a musician,
I would say you toured the country.
Yeah, I'll just say I started taking piano when I was 5, and then picked up guitar when I was like 12, because at that time that's when piano's not cool anymore. I wanted to be cool and play guitar. So those are my main 2 instruments, and then first band was I was like 15 or 16, but then whenever that was, basically all of my 20s then after that, I toured full time. Just around the US. That was most of my 20s, I want to say. And then after that, I started, so that was with 3 different bands over that decade. And then I stopped touring, started teaching, and then also took over as the music director for our church. So I do that as well. And still write my own music and trying to start performing live again. Done music for this guy here, which you already talked about, your whole video side.
Mhm.
So I think that's mainly it. Am I missing anything? I think that's mainly.
No, yeah.
That's mainly the stuff. So
I mean,
check out I did release a new song. So check it out if anyone is interested. You can just go to my Instagram, which will be on there, and the links are there. It's just my name, and you can just look it up on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, all that good stuff. And still working on my next album. But I'm a perfectionist. That's going to take forever.
one of those
to
early
finish.
bands, guest of the pod, Blake,
Yes.
was in one of those early bands with you.
Yeah, we did talk about that. I don't remember which pod.
Yes.
The first one he was on, we said, he was in, the first band I toured with, which we were more like a local band. We did a decent amount of touring. But most of the time was with like a bigger band. But then I did Twin Radio after that too, which we toured a little bit as well. So between the 3 bands, it was mainly it was weird getting.
What was the big band?
I the Breather. Was the
Breather.
big.
Yep.
But what's weird is that because I was just thinking about it when Kyle sent this email, I was like, that was basically all of my 20s was touring. I didn't realize it was that long. From like when I first started, and conveniently it just was like when I stopped and started teaching, I was like, I think I was just about to turn 30. So just worked out that way.
It didn't seem like it was that long. It was like
no, but between the 3 bands, I mean, it was over that long period of time. It's crazy. So maybe one day again, I would like to, if I get the opportunity to. But that's currently what I'm doing. So
cool.
Yeah. So thank you again for writing in, Kyle, and anyone else write in feedback at screentimepod.com.
If you got any questions for us, and it doesn't have to be specific to.
Yeah, it can be anything.
Yeah, you can ask us anything.
Or just leave a comment. I mean, that's easier too if you just want to leave a comment on the YouTube video or whatever. So
any suggestions on what to cover next on the film or TV? Because both are
because that's coming up. We got to figure
close
out
here soon. So if you got any thoughts on something you'd like to hear or see us talk about, let us know.
Yeah, we're almost done. Last of Us already. Short season.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get into what we've been watching. I can have a shorter list this week than normal. Yeah.
Wow. Maybe I have more than you.
Maybe.
We have some of the same stuff, I know, but
yeah, I mean, because like something new, like I really just have one.
Okay.
But we start. So this week's episode of The Studio called The Golden Globes. It's episode 8.
Yeah, I am caught up on all this.
Yeah. Matt tries to get Zoe Kravitz to thank him in her awards acceptance speech.
Yeah. I love Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah. And this episode, I mean, still just.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a great episode.
Yeah.
Had Adam Scott also in it. Good.
I was wondering, like, I saw him in the trailer or something. I knew he was going to be in this.
Yeah.
To some degree, but yeah.
Which is, he's like Apple TV Plus royalty at this point.
Yeah. What's funny in this, he's like playing
himself.
Yeah, but kind of like it's not like the nerdy side of him, but it's not like full douchey stepbrother. It's kind of like in the middle. It's like Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like a little bit heightened Adam Scott.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah. But evidently, I guess this is they truly were, because I saw some photos on social media going around of like these guys when they were young, both
Oh, nice.
What's the actor's name? I can't, that actually plays Sal Saperstein.
Oh, so it was both of them
Like it's
hanging out back in the day.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like really young, so they definitely knew each other.
That's
and
cool.
Was somehow there's some truth to this like a little bit.
Nice.
But yeah, if you don't know, you didn't watch the episode. There's Adam Scott wins for something, and then and then he gets up, and then he just because he randomly bumps into this character Sal Saperstein, and he was like, "Oh, dude, yeah, I crashed in your couch." So then, like, he's thanking all these people, and he thanks him at the end. And of course, the joke is then everyone starts thanking Sal Saperstein, even though half the people don't even know who he is. And then the whole time, our main dude Matt is wanting to be because if you win, if you're as just a studio head, you don't get credit for anything. You're not listed anywhere. You're not a producer.
Unless it's in the contract.
Yeah,
that's where he went wrong.
Yeah,
Ted Sarandos. He should have.
Yeah, and so then we have these cameo from Ted Sarandos. So this is an interesting thing. Like, I mean, maybe because he's not painted in like a bad light, I wouldn't say, but
that he agreed to.
It's a freaking Netflix guy, but it's in an Apple TV Plus show.
It is crazy.
So why would they use a Netflix guy, Ted Sarandos?
Yeah. I know this. They're like direct competitors.
Yeah,
like
technically.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, it was still funny.
It's good.
It was like good episode.
I'm glad because I wasn't sure when we were talking about it last week, but there's 10 episodes. I'm glad we got 2 more.
2 more. And it got renewed.
I did see that.
Season 2. Since
we were wondering about that.
We asked about that, and it was literally the next day after recording last week.
Or after we, but no, that's good.
So yeah, I'm excited about that too.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's on Apple.
Apple TV Plus, the studio.
We've talked about that, I guess, for 8 weeks now.
Week, yeah. And we've been talking about it every week, and I guess at this point I'm not gonna stop. So
no, there's only 2 more anyway.
Yeah. Have you watched any more of Andor?
Yes. This is one of my other things. I'm on episode 4.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay. I
Where are you at?
Episode 5, so I'm only a little bit ahead of you.
Okay. I'm thinking since we only have 2 more weeks of Last of Us, we might as well just do at least a one-off.
Do for Andor.
Yeah, talk about because I mean that's it of the show. Like
Yeah, there's no more.
So we're it'd be we could go more in depth into it because that'll be done soon. Well, that'll be done when this podcast gets released, which is crazy.
Right.
Putting out 3 a week. So
I saw something about they were going to release it in theaters next year.
Really?
And he's going to do a cut down though of it or something. And then that way they can run it back to like you can do a double header with Rogue One or something. I don't know.
That'd be a cool idea.
Yeah. But it's still like, how do you cut down 12 episodes, both seasons?
Both seasons, yeah.
Unless they at least cut one season into like a 2-hour movie and then cut the other season into a 2-hour movie. And then, but then this season, like it jumps around and a lot of time jumps. Yeah. I had heard that like originally these were all supposed to be separate seasons, and then Disney they were like, yeah, we're not doing 5 seasons of this budget. Yeah. So then they had to like condense them into, so each one of the time jumps was supposed to be a full season.
Wow. Well, I know it is. I imagine just like the other Star Wars shows are very expensive. I mean, this show looks very expensive.
Show looks amazing.
It does. It does look amazing.
So what are you thinking so far then of what you've seen? I mean, just briefly.
I was looking forward to this season after rewatching season 1 and liking it more than I did initially. I figured season 2 would be better. Plus, I think it'd be more interesting because we're getting closer to Rogue One and obviously the original movie. And yeah, I do. It is still slow at times, but I know now I'm like in the right mindset because that was again my issue with it. I was like, man, this is like really, and like getting into these really weird small details that obviously Tony Gilroy wanted to do for the show. Like, and some of it didn't feel like Star Wars to me initially, but then like when I mentioned rewatching it, I kind of understood it more because my main thing was it didn't feel like Rogue One and like original Star Wars to me, but now I kind of understand what he's going for now, and I can enjoy it more now.
Yeah, I think again, those first 3 episodes, it does feel a little slower. But I think they're almost like, because
it's pretty much just a wedding, like for most of the first 3.
I mean that then there's the timeline with him with the
right,
but the opening scene was great with with that, but and then with the TIE fighters that he sold, like the prototype TIE fighter. I mean, and then there's the stuff with on that planet where Brix is and stuff, but
Bix,
yeah.
Right, but not now. They're
well, then it jumps in time. Jumps a year, and then like they're talking about Gorman and yeah. But then because we had the stuff with the Cyril Karn and his mom, and that's great. But
he's there's something about his face that just I don't like though.
Yeah, you want to punch him.
Yeah, but like he's gotten better as a character as it's gone, but still, it's just like I don't know. There's something about him, and I've never seen that guy in anything else.
Yeah,
but
true. Me neither.
Well, I'm glad you feel the same. I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way about him. He's just a very strange character, but
true.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
I love Bix though.
Yeah,
but she's one of my favorite actresses. Anyway.
What else has she been in?
Recently, Hitman. She's the main actress in Hitman.
Oh, she is?
Yeah. And there's one other thing recently.
Yeah, she was good in that. That was good.
Yeah. There was something else recently. I can't think of it now, but yeah. Adria Arjona. She was not in much before, like she's kind of getting more well known now.
I'm sure after season 1 of Andor.
Yeah.
Gonna help.
But there was some other things too, but I believe originally she was just doing Spanish television. So this is kind of the same as Ana de Armas too. Because I know when we covered that one movie, it was like one of her first American
roles. Yeah,
and then she kind of blew up from there. Was it Todd Phillips?
Yeah, Todd Phillips.
So when we were still doing that?
Yeah, it was Todd Phillips. It was the
right, because that was the pivot right before Joker.
The war movie, like where the
War Dogs. It was it was like kind of the bridge between all of his comedy movies and that. Anyway, but so kind of a similar trajectory to her, it seems, as an actress.
So she went right to film where this lady's more TV.
Just doing both, because there is a few other things I have seen her in, but I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But
and Hitman's streaming, not really.
Yeah. But I'm very excited for the rest of this season of Andor, and I might as well then just rewatch Rogue One right afterwards.
Absolutely.
Because it's been a while, and so why not at that point? I'm probably when you're finished the season, you're going to want to anyway.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
And that's on Disney.
Yeah, Andor. Yeah.
All the Star Wars.
For all your Star Wars needs.
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
The good and the bad. There's good and bad for Disney owning Star Wars. But
yeah,
this is a very good part of Star Wars. Even though it's funny, it's like not. I think that's why some people complain about it, because it's like it's not Jedis and lightsabers, But it's like it's like the everyday, real world of all these places.
But as much as it's also like the reality is, as much as let's say Luke Skywalker played a role in things. In reality, is like it's everyone else that really.
Yeah, this is the start of the rebellion.
Yeah.
This is the whole.
And this is where because Luke Skywalker was dealing, but really Han Solo blowing up the Death Star, the third movie. Of course, they always find ways to bring back the bad guys, but like that's really
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yes.
It's an actual line from the movie.
Yeah. But the reality is like it's all the rest of the rebellion that like does the grunt work of actually making sure things happen, right?
And I do want to say it is awesome seeing, just because we're familiar with her from the prequels, but it's awesome to see Mon Mothma so much in what she is doing with the rebellion or everything adjacent to that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Cool. So what else you got?
I just have one more thing besides the two you already talked about.
Okay.
So do you have anything else?
Just one other thing as well.
Okay. The Righteous Gemstones, the series finale.
Okay.
Just ended. Yeah. So it's completely done now. This is on HBO Max, whatever. I hate calling it Max. I'm like, it's HBO.
Max, the one to watch.
Yeah, I hate So, yeah. I really like this show. I really like all of Danny McBride's shows he's done, or his, I guess, 3 now. I wonder if he's going to do another one. I don't know. But, so I will say that, so this is season 4, this final season. I will say it's not as good as the previous seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've watched any of it yet.
Not season 4, no.
Okay. So that's kind of a bummer. I didn't think it was as good. And even the finale, no spoilers, but it was a good finale. But just because the whole season was just, I didn't think was quite as strong. So the finale was not quite as good either, to me at least. But I will say, with all of Danny McBride's shows and the movies he does, he makes just some of the greatest characters ever. Like Baby Billy will be like all time for me. Characters like just incredible. I think are you in season 3 of Righteous Gemstones?
I think I started season 3, but I feel like I fell off the beginning of season 3.
Okay.
So.
Well, this is not a spoiler, but just because Baby Billy's always cooking up something, every season.
Yep.
I think he starts this in season 3. A game show called Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers. So there's that.
I haven't seen that.
Okay, it's like a little bit into season 3. But then this in season 4, this is just a funny thing he also tries to get into. He starts developing a like a prestige TV show for the teen years of Jesus and calls it Teen Just. Dude, and he's it's so good. So and he's like directing it, and you see him on set sometimes. Anyways, it's great. So like all stuff like that. I mean, that's why he's one of my favorite. Just obviously the way he talks and just the stuff he says.
Yeah.
But so all this stuff was still good in season 4, but some of the other stuff was whatever, not quite as strong. But yeah. So anyway, so wanted to mention that. Finish that, and hopefully Danny McBride will still.
He'll do something else new. Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
So I checked out, which I think I mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago. Antoine, the new Amy Palladino show.
Oh, right.
I watched the
because we were not aware of this.
Yeah,
and then
I just found out about it. Like, yeah. So it's a French word. This means star. Like,
okay. Right. You said it's about.
So it's the dancers and artistic staff of 2 world-renowned ballet companies.
Ballet, right.
One from New York, one from Paris, on an ambitious gambit to save their old institutions by swapping their most talented stars. So they take like 3 or 4 of the top talent from the French ballet, and they come over to America, and blah, blah, blah. And then vice versa. So it's
Is this still like a comedy, like
not as much as
as Maisel.
Maisel was.
Okay, so it's more serious.
Yeah, it's a little more serious, but still has that quirkiness in there.
Okay.
The dancing looks very legit.
Mm-hmm.
I told Addie about it. I don't think she's checked it out yet, but like, I was curious from a more professional standpoint, like how legit it is, but it looks pretty legit, like, and pretty, pretty well done. So they must have gotten some real dancers to play all those roles, people that have some serious ballet experience. But yeah, I'm still like, so the lead guy that's running the Metropolitan, I think they call it, the one that's in New York. Lead guy that's leading that is the male guy actor that was like kind of the comedian that would always kind of flirt with Miss Maisel, like the kind of
yeah, that guy's great.
Yeah, he is, but like
not in this.
There's something about him that's like and because he's kind of like almost like the lead character, so to speak, because obviously I'm gonna say obvious, but it's like it feels a little. And there's also a lady that runs, and I like her, a lady that runs the French ballet, the one in Paris. But they're kind of like the leads, like those two people, and they're banter back and forth and constantly like each other but hate each other kind of thing. But I don't know, there's something about his character because it's very different than he was in Miss Maisel.
Right.
He's a little more frantic and erotic, and that he was more like suave and like, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was like old school comedian.
Yeah. And so it's like, again, it kind of mixed on some of the parts of this, but I'll probably still watch more of it than just 2 episodes just to kind of see. But they dropped the whole thing at once, so it's like it's all on there. But yeah.
Okay.
So that's on Amazon or Prime, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Etoile, which it looks like it's Etoile. So it doesn't look like Etoile.
Right.
But it's because French word.
It's French word, yeah.
So,
all right.
Well.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's time for Based or Waste.
Are we ready for Based or Waste?
Mm-hmm. Always.
Okay. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Based or Waste, the internet game show where we go on Rotten Tomatoes and look and see what's trending for TV shows or movies. And I picked 10 of them. And Josh is going to guess if they are good or bad, if they're based or waste. And this is going off of the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So we are back to movies. Last week was like okay for you, I think. 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Decent. Yeah. I don't remember, but let's see how you do this time. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Josh, the film guy. Let's see. See if you're still a film guy. All right. First one is Warfare. This is the new. Alex Garland is somewhat involved in this, but I don't think he directed it because he just did Civil War. But this is what I know about it.
I'm going to say based.
Yes. 93.
Oh, wow. You really?
Yeah, very high right now.
Yeah.
I checked this like a couple days ago, so could change somewhat, but
yeah,
I always try to check pretty close from when this was recorded. All right, next one is A Simple Favor. And that's because the new one just came out.
Like, yeah.
Which I don't think that really needed a sequel.
I'm going to say based on it.
It's weird that they did a sequel. Yeah, 73.
Yeah.
Also, isn't there still a bunch of drama with her? Blake Lively?
I don't know. I don't follow that stuff as much.
I don't either. All right. Next one is Megan.
Based.
Yeah. 78.
That's
I don't know why this is trending again.
There's a,
Are they
the
doing
new
another one?
There's a sequel. Yeah. They talked about it at CinemaCon. I got to see, they had
okay.
a bunch of, like,
Man, that was quick. This just came out not too long ago. So they did a sequel that.
yeah, they had a bunch of people dressed up as Megan.
Okay.
Like, but because in the sequel, she gets a bigger body. So she's not so like small. So she's more like adult size. No. And then, anyway, so they had a bunch, and they were like all like moving and kind of dancing on stage, like in
Gotcha.
synchronous, and it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never seen this movie. I
I've
don't
never
really
seen
care
the first
about
one,
it, but
like the trailer for the second one looked ridiculous. As
Yeah,
I
okay.
imagine the first one was.
oh yeah,
So, but also like people that like that kind of stuff, you know.
yeah, it did well. The
Mhm.
first one, so we'll see. So it's already out. The new one.
I don't know if it's out, but
No,
they
not yet.
definitely
Okay.
released trailers and stuff in it. I think it comes out later this year, but probably because I think because I don't know that the trailer had dropped when they showed it to us at CinemaCon and talked about it. Like I don't think that it was actually out in public,
Okay.
but sometime in the last. So probably got people watching and talking about
Yeah.
the first one.
All right. Next is kind of similar. Annabelle.
Hmm.
The first Annabelle movie. I don't know if this is somehow in the same
Yeah, I'm not
universe.
sure. Yeah.
Maybe the same studio made it at
Mhm.
least. I don't know.
I'm gonna say based on this one as well.
No,
Ooh,
it's a 35.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. I've never seen this either.
No,
but
I
yeah,
haven't
this
either.
is a waste.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. This next one is very near and dear to both of us.
Hmm.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, this has got to be based.
Yes, 95. Why is this trending? Do you know?
It's some anniversary.
Oh, is
because
it?
it was they just had it in the theater again. At
Okay.
our local theater.
Can you see it in frame for the audio listeners? Watch the video, but we have the coconuts.
hanging back there?
Yeah,
off
they're
of the
hanging
chair,
off of this chair right there. I don't know if you can see
in the
it,
background. Yeah, there's not much light back
but
there.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So it was a
Yeah, so-
re-released or
Yeah, I think so. Something
Cool.
like that.
what year did that come out?
Mm.
I mean, I just remember watching it like well, you and Mike are showing it to me. So it's been around since the 90s at least. All right. Halfway through. Next one. Spider-Man No Way Home.
No, that's got to be based.
Yeah, 97.
Yeah.
It's because it's nostalgia for all the old Spider-Man
Yeah.
stuff.
Trying to look and see when it came out.
Oh, okay. Actually, it might have even been the 80s.
1975.
Whoa. I didn't realize it was that old. Dang. Okay. Black Widow.
Black Widow. This is because of Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm. This is a tricky one.
Yeah. I'm gonna say based. I'm gonna say based.
Yeah, this is 91 now, which I think is a little too high, but
Oh wow. Okay.
uh,
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I don't know what the audience has been up to lately. Some weird scores.
I wouldn't have rated it quite that high either.
No.
All right. Well, that's another score for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 75 means it was the 50th anniversary of.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Right. Yeah. 50th anniversary
Yes,
for Monty
50.
Python.
Yep.
And the Holy Grail.
Yes.
Monty Python was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a 91. All right, now Thunderbolts.
Oh,
What
that's
do you
based.
think?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is at a 94.
Yeah.
Which also
I would rate this pretty high. Like maybe not 94.
no, there's no way it's this good.
It's pretty good.
No, I mean I believe you, but I'll watch it soon.
Mhm.
But that's a little too high for both of these, I think. But
I agree,
We'll see.
agree for the Black Widow. I would say it's still a little high, but I mean, I would give it an 8 out of 10.
okay.
Thunderbolts.
Did you write?
No, not
Did you
for
mark it?
Thunderbolts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make sure we're good on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we had two more.
Yep, and I missed one. So
Yes. Okay. All right. These last two, don't know why they're trending. Well, but they're tricky, so that's why I wanted to pick them. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I mean, like we talked about the prequels because, well, Revenge of the Sith was in theaters,
Yep.
but also it's like you think those would be trending around that. Like, why would Last Jedi be trending? That's way later in the timeline.
I guess because people just watching Star Wars.
I guess.
Maybe Andor also. It's just getting people wanting to watch this Star Wars. I mean, for audience score, I'm going to say based.
But they're gonna be disappointed when they go to some of these movies
I'm
here.
going to say based on Last Jedi.
No,
Oh,
41.
wow.
Waste.
Okay, it's really low.
Yeah. This was the first of like the divisive ones because episode 7 was just like it was very safe. You know, it was a New Hope again, basically. So people were just like, yeah, okay.
It's got to be fanboy bombed there. The audience score.
Yeah, probably.
Because that movie is definitely better than a 4.
Well, yeah, in some aspects.
So no, I'd like, okay, take the Star Wars out of it. Like take the films around like any as a film.
Yes, as a film,
It's a great film as a film. So it can't be just because you don't agree with some things, decisions they make, doesn't make it a 4.
What's the biggest thing? It's like, it's what they do with Luke, and also that,
I agree. The stuff they do with Luke was a little weird.
and the woman, I'm blanking on her name, Admiral like Holdo or something.
Mm.
The woman that's like she like yells at, I don't know. I didn't like her either. No, but yeah, there's a lot of aspects of the movie that looks great, but it's just the Star Wars parts.
And I don't like like stuff with the Snoke, like just making him
Snoke, yeah,
just like disappear. And, like,
oh yeah, because they were setting up.
Yes.
Well, that's the through line through all of them. It's just like they just kept changing ideas. They're like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. But I definitely would not give it that low.
Yeah, I don't know what score I would actually give it, but I think you probably like it more than me. But
no, I remember liking the film overall and just being like, but there's some things I thought was a little weird. So I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10 if I was rating the film.
Well, last one. Speaking of that, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. This is episode 9.
This one, I didn't. I liked less. Like this one had just like bad plot, and I was like, man, this is bad.
This felt stitched together.
So I'm gonna say waste because there's no way this is like better than last year.
All right, so maybe I'll check this again in real time, but this is so weird. This is sitting at an 86 right now in audience.
What the heck?
Right. So I don't know it when it came out. It was probably like down to a 40. Like I'm gonna look right now because
that's crazy.
It was
no
very
way.
surprising.
Because again, this is a standalone film. Like if you take it as a film, this is not a good film.
No, it's
a lot of bad
stitched
story,
together.
and it's a lot of it's just like hodgepodge. It like makes no sense.
Yeah, there you go. So critics, obviously,
This is a 51.
it is at an 86 right now. Why?
That's just wrong.
It is wrong. I agree. Yeah. Very confusing. But anyway,
Society has let me down.
I know. Well, that's why I picked these two. I'm like, these are confusing and tricky. I mean, all these sequel movies are for Star Wars. So, yeah. All right. I think that was your average last week, too. I think it was a 7.
Was it 7
or an 8?
I can't.
Maybe 8.
I thought I had 8 last week, but maybe not. Oh, well.
Anyway, I don't know what's going on with this is not good for the game that I came up with. Going off of audience score. Audience score is a little whack right now. I don't know how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. But
These divisive times.
Yeah.
Can't trust the crowd.
Nope. Can't trust the the banks either, like we just talked about in The Big Short. Check out the movie podcast. All right.
All right. Well, let's.
That's been based away. Yeah, wait for my outro.
Sorry,
Come
but
on, you jumping the
you're
gun.
taking forever.
I know. Yeah, that's been Based or Waste. Tune in next week. We'll be back to TV.
All right. Let's get into The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 5, Feel Her Love. The WLF makes a dangerous discovery at a great cost. Later, Ellie must decide whether to continue with her plan and risk putting Dina in danger or give up on her quest for justice. All right. So overall thoughts on this episode?
You tell me.
You always wanted me to go.
Yeah.
I really like this episode.
You're the show only one guy.
I really like this episode.
Okay.
I think overall, probably my favorite so far this season. I know that the second episode was powerful with just a moment, and it was cool to see the horde attack the town. But like, I don't know, there's something about this with like the world building and just like stuff in this that and kind of really, just a little bit more. It feels like a little bit more just overall is happening than just like those two moments in that episode. But just interesting stuff in this one.
Cool.
About you?
I liked it. I don't think I'm as high on it as you, but my thing is that the whole Ellie thing that like I talked about initially, I think it's getting worse for me throughout the season with how she's being portrayed. It's hard to explain, but she's still acting too much like a kid, and especially in the game, like because of the events that have happened to her, she's forced to grow up. And I don't know, there's like a level of incompetency with the way she goes about things. Well, you kind of were talking about this when they're at the music store, where they're just like, you're making all this noise. I don't know. There's just little things like that. And part of this is also, which I don't want to pile on to because a lot of people just like pile on to this actress that's playing Ellie. But yeah, she still looks kind of younger than how old she's supposed to be in at this time in the show. But yeah, there's just, I don't know, she's still kind of acting like which we talked about a little bit at the beginning of the season, like kind of just like a bratty kid. But I really like Dina. It's mainly just Ellie. I don't know. So it's just, that still bothered me this episode. And
so in the game, is she also 19?
I don't know what age she actually is, but she is way more of a grown up and actually thinks like more logically in these situations than what she's doing in the show. That was my main thing with this. Yeah. She does look older too in the game, I will say. But that's also casting wise, like, you can only do so much with, so.
Well, I don't know how old the actress is in real life, but she's supposed to be playing 19 in the show right now. So, yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, and I think there are some points, but I also think at 18, 19, like you think you're an adult and you're not.
Yeah, of course.
So, like, you still got a lot to figure out. And, so yeah, so I think there's I don't know, maybe there is a difference. Maybe in the game, really, she's much older.
But I mean, of like what all she's been through, kind of has forced her to mature even more. Is my point.
I mean, maybe. I mean,
yeah. No, I mean, not necessarily. We don't know
what she went 5 years of just living in Jackson Hole and
true,
not really much anything happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Well, let's get into what happened this episode.
Yeah.
So our opening scene is at the hospital that the WLF has control over. And we see the lady from the flashback opening from last week.
Yeah.
And then she's there talking to
The
another.
actress from Waiting.
Right. And she's there talking to someone else, interrogating them. And then they show, like, she's
really great in the scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this whole scene, the way it plays out is also like, you first think that, like, this is someone else this is me. This is kind of where this other lady was someone they captured or something that was not supposed to be doing, because she's like interrogating her kind of, and then you kind of find out like, no, wait, this was a unit they sent to do something, and then she's, took her best man and sent him to, like, and you're like, wow. And then so kind of as it starts playing out, you realize, and then of course what is her sergeant or whatever she is, like, is like, okay, it sounds like you made the right choice. And then just as she's stepping out, she's like, oh yeah, and sorry about your son.
Yeah.
And like, you're like, oh my gosh, that she sealed it off with her son and down there. So like, that's, but this is where we get they're like, it's airborne, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And
they call it spores, I think. Yeah.
But obviously it's contained to the basement.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we would all have been affected by now if it was in the air vent. So it's definitely staying down there. But yeah.
And obviously this is a good setup for the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, this opening scene, I did like the way they shot it. Like, I like how it's very straight onto their face and like really pretty close up of their face. And it was like straight on. I don't know. It made the scene more, I guess, intense. Yeah.
Cool. And then we get to see Ellie and Dina, and they're still in the theater. They're triangulating some things, and she's working on still trying.
With the radio.
Yeah, with the radio, trying to figure out where everybody is and what they're patrolling and blah, blah. And they talk about, it's interesting, like, there's like, they act like no one's listening, these radios. And then she mentioned about Amish or whatever. It's, I think.
It was a good comparison to how they are, the Seraphites.
Yeah. And so it was interesting to like think of it that way. And then be like, oh yeah, they're being kind of dumb by just saying, because like, what if there is somebody else out there besides the Seraphites, right? But it's playing to their advantage. But then we get Ellie's kind of like, oh, let me help, and then like, oh, I don't really understand math, let me and then she goes into the stage area of this theater, and there's a guitar there again. But this space like looked crazy awesome. This set or whatever you want to, it's really cool. It was interesting, like, I think they did an awesome job of like, she starts to play and it's like just a moment, and at first I was like, are we really do this again? Because we just like an episode or two ago she played music, but like it gets cut off by like the rumble from like the battle, like not too far away, right, or something. Like there's like a lower rumble.
No, I think this is just her thinking.
No, it's definitely no. There's definitely a like a rumble.
Yeah, but I thought that was just.
Oh, how you interpret it was that. I interpreted it was like she started to hear the outside noise that they've been hearing for a while.
Well, maybe.
And then it like kind of snapped her out of it, and like, oh, there's still a reality here.
So this song, I won't say any more about it, but I recognize this song because it's a very important song also to the game.
Okay.
But it's played and done in a different way and in a different section, which I don't know if we will see. But it's a really great scene. And so I was surprised. I heard her starting to play it, but then she stopped. So I don't know. I don't know why necessarily. I don't know. I just thought that she was like, it made her think about something very specific, and then she like didn't want to think about it anymore and just stopped playing. But maybe
did you hear the rumble? Did you hear the sound?
But it didn't. I thought it was just part of the score.
No, it was definitely like Like
diegetic versus non-diegetic sound. If you want to be real about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because is it really that close outside that they could hear it from there?
Yeah, when they were up on that balcony in the episode before, they were
Right.
hearing it and stuff.
Yeah, that's.
So
I don't know.
yeah. Then Dina comes in and is like, hey, kind of think I've mapped it out. And so then they're going over this, like, here's the patrol, and here's a spot we can get through. And then she's like, well, they're like, well, why do you think they're not patrolling it?
Yeah.
So they're assuming they're going to run into something there, but they're like, it's probably not that many. It's not a horde, because they wouldn't just let a horde there.
Yeah, but it's literally the only building. It's like, that's got to be something pretty serious if it's literally the only building.
But anyway, so they wait till night, right? And then they kind of get past them and get into the warehouse. But like before that, they see that more of Seraphite's dead, with like a kind of like a spray paint mocking them or whatever, their beliefs. That's right. And then we get right before also when they're heading that way, before they go, we get the story from Dina about their childhood. And that was interesting and good. Yeah. Because like Ellie has this moment of like, wait a minute, I can't just take you in here. You got a baby, or, and then she's like, no, I'm making this choice, and this is what I would do. I would do, like, basically saying, hey, I would be hunting him down too. So,
oh yeah.
But anyway, so they get into the warehouse.
Let me say, because this is just my only other note for this specifically that I wanted to say, just because it's a good moment for it when they're walking, is this just makes me laugh specifically with the Dina character. And I know this is a normal TV show movie thing, but they've been in the wilderness forever, and her skin and makeup like looks flawless always on Dina, especially.
Yeah.
And maybe that's contractual, like they have to have her like that. I don't know. But it's just that one in particular is her, because they don't make Ellie look like that as much, but like with Dina specifically, it's like she's very like done up always. It's just funny to me. You don't really see any dirt or like anything on her. But
yeah, it's true. That's true.
Also, it looks like she just showered. Like it's not.
Yeah. Your hair looks like
yeah, her hair has like full volume, and it's like it's
herbal essence, or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So
then they go inside. Yeah.
So they get to the warehouse. They kind of sneak inside the warehouse, and at first seems like the coast is clear, and then they run into Stalker, yeah. And she's like, oh, here's, and then they're trying to figure out a strategy how to deal with the Stalker, because Ellie ran into one before and blah, blah, blah. And then they realize, oh, there's a lot more than just one.
Yeah.
And so then it becomes kind of a panic decision. And she's like, oh, Ellie, it's like, just run for that caged area and bar yourself in. And she's like, I'll take care of it because I can get bit and be okay, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, immediately I'm thinking, yeah, but there's like 6 or 8 of them. Like, it's not. Then you have to worry about more than just getting bit.
Yeah, they would be.
And there was like screwed. A body there that was like torn in half that you saw when they first came in. So, yeah, that was not a. But then we see even she starts shooting, and then they're even like smart enough to start peeling back the
fence, like
the metal for the that's protecting the little cage area. So it's like, but maybe think of like, why are they staying in there then?
Right.
Why have they not wandered out of the warehouse is the question. But if they're like that smart, right?
True.
But anyway, and then just as it looks like it's very dire, and they're all gonna then what's his name? Jesse shows up and shoots the last remaining few, and then they start running. And of course, because of the gunfire and everything, the WLF are like alerted to them. So then they're running from them, and they run into a park. A wooded park. Yeah. And then, of course, as a viewer, you're like, oh, because then the WLF stops, and you're like, oh, this has got to be where the Seraphites are, because they talked about the previous episode, like how different areas, different zones and whatever. Different areas.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have a choice, I guess, but it's like they immediately are like, oh, they stopped. Why aren't they following us anymore? When they get in there, it's like, well, kind of like your other thing with the building thing. It's like, well, clearly there's something just as bad, if not worse.
Well, I think they made a comment about that.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
They're like, oh, there's probably something out here.
Yeah.
But they assume, like, again.
But I guess that's really the only way they can go anyway. So they kind of have to, or forced to go through there.
And then, of course, they come upon a leader or some type of Seraphites.
Not the leader, not the woman.
But like for the Seraphites, and he's performing some kind of ceremony, and this WLF soldier, and he just
disembowels him.
Yeah, got some. But just as that happens, then Gina gets shot with an arrow in the leg.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ellie wants to protect her, so she's like, oh, I'll divert, you get her out of here. And she runs away, but hides in a tree. I was like, also kind of like, okay, that was too easy.
Yeah.
Seraphite people don't seem like they're that dumb, but.
No, there was a lot of, you talking through the plot of this episode, there was a lot of convenience.
Yeah.
In this episode, for sure.
Yeah. But still cool to see, like, just the world building around this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I like all this stuff.
And so then.
Plus the visuals of that, like in the woods.
Yeah.
Look really cool.
Yeah. So then she gets away. And of course, we don't see any more of Jesse and Dina this episode. Like,
yeah,
they just kind of they got out. They ran somewhere in the woods. We don't know.
Yep.
And of course, and when they met Jesse, he did say he came there with Tom. What's his name?
Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy.
Joel's brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So right, and so he's there somewhere too.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen him. But just as Ellie's like kind of getting away from him, she sees an exit and sees the hospital.
Yeah.
And decides she's going to just approach it on her own. So, to be honest, I was like expecting this is where we're going to cut in the episode, honestly. Because I was like, oh, that's a good spot to end it. And they didn't do that.
No.
And kind of especially to the point of last couple episodes and stuff, like that's where it felt like it had been, oh, this is the amount of information, the amount of stuff that happens in an episode, right? And no, so then we get to see Ellie's sneaks in the, we don't see how she got in there and got to but she's there and she sees
that's part of the video game part. That's where you just got to figure out however you can get inside.
She sees Nora, right?
Yeah.
And Nora's like obviously helping treat some people. We see her before she walks into this back room, and then Ellie confronts her at gunpoint. And Nora apologizes for the brutality, Joel's death, but she's like, but he deserved it.
Mm.
And then she kind of distracts Ellie to then get away and start running. And then she alerts some of the other people that she's running away. Ellie chases her down a hall and kind of is able to dodge some gunshots. Also another convenient thing, but
Yes.
But it's also, I mean, again, it's like these guys, some of these people supposedly are trained militia or whatever, right? But I'm sure it's hard to hit a moving target that fast. Like someone's running like that.
Yeah, it's
with a gun, but
it's always with any show or movie, you have to suspend your disbelief somewhat because some of this kind of stuff has to happen in a plot.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. This episode, there was a lot
More
of it.
than
though.
normal.
Yeah. To where, like, and it seemed like all ways to, like, get to those, like, kind of specific plot moments from the game. Because, like, this one at the end here coming up, especially when the light goes to red, like, when she does the, like that's a very another big moment from the game. So like as soon as the lights went red, because I was like, I wonder how they're gonna do this. Then I was like, oh, okay, like this is a moment I remember from the original story.
Anyway, she corners Nora.
Yeah.
So Nora, to get away, she basically goes down the elevator shaft, which then it drops, and she ends up on basement 2, which is what we had learned at the beginning of the episode, is where they had sealed off because that's
where it's airborne.
where the spores are. Yeah. So then, but Ellie just goes right after and climbs down there, but she also has to, because she's got a bunch of armed guys coming after her as well. That was chasing her, so she.
But they can't get down there unless they have gas masks.
No, I know, but she's trying to get away from him.
Right. Yeah.
So, so get down there. So then we get this cool moment where Ellie's like walking through, and we see all the spores, and we see
the visuals of this look amazing.
Yeah, this art. Yeah, like artistically, the set design, creature, whatever stuff you want to, and like seeing the consumed bodies, like kind of half sucked in, part of the cordyceps stuff, but then like using the mouth to like just create more spores. Like it's crazy. It was awesome. Yeah, it's like crazy. It's like, oh, I'm going to use you to spread things. It's like, I mean, it's like, it's very like naturalist, or like in nature, like great, like there's like reasons that a dandelion like turns those things, and then they move on to other animals.
Yeah, it all makes sense from like an evolutionary nature. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
which is cool. Which is cool. I mean, all like this whole thing, like like it's not your usual zombie stuff, right? Like so all that concept and in the world, it is neat in that way, because it's like it's much more
makes it more unique, and not just The Walking Dead or any other zombie show.
Makes it more sci-fi, in my sense.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like being like scientific about how this thing could be.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's cool. And of course, like the scene was very. Then she finds the power thing that turns the red lights on. So what's the significance of that in the game? Like you said, like, because I was like, I mean, other than
it was just
red,
a moment. This scene and like all the light being bathed in red now, it's just a very memorable scene from the game.
Okay.
So that's why once it got to this point, I was like, oh, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen now. It's just one of those other moments that's like more of a standout from the game. So,
yeah. I did think it was kind of interesting how confident she is that wasn't good. The spores weren't going to bother her either. She didn't even like hesitate. And like, I'm like, yeah, you're immune from a bite, but like, I would be like, is this okay for me? I don't know,
I want to say, I don't remember if they showed it in the show, but in the first game, you go through a section where spores around, because Joel's wearing a gas mask and she's not. So like, she's already been through an area.
It was not in the show.
That was not in the show? Okay.
No.
All right. So it is implied that this was not her first time walking through an area that has spores. So she already knows that this is not going to bother her either. Whether that was shown or not in the show, which I guess it hasn't.
No, it definitely was not shown.
Okay.
No, I mean, I feel like I don't agree with that. Like, I think this is what you said. Like, I don't think she's come across these before.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it depends on what they wanted to add, lore wise to the show or not.
Yeah, I feel like the way they're setting it up, where it was like a new information for those people. I think no one has experienced this before. This is like a new thing, evolution, just like the stalkers are like versus the clickers. Like, I think it's the show, like this stuff's evolving in a way to
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Life finds a way.
Yeah. That's right. So anyway, she finds choking Nora because Nora's breathing stuff in and is not immune.
Yeah.
So it's already starting to like clog up her whatever, doing whatever it's doing.
It's got to be a horrible way to go.
Yeah. Well,
besides what else happens to her, but
so
just the spores itself has got to be a bad way to go.
So then we get this scene with Ellie and Nora talking. Of course, Nora is like, "Oh, you're her." So like, all these people knew rumors about like, especially, obviously we know where Nora and Abby came from, was the hospital in Park City Ellie was gonna, they were gonna kill her to try to create a cure.
Yeah.
And so she's obviously heard of this person, but then she realizes, oh, you're the one that all this crap has been about. And and then of course she starts to explain to her what Joel did. And she's like, oh, I know. So how she knows, I don't know, but like she says she knows.
Well, it's what we're already talking about. How she was already been suspect to it for a while and kind of,
but
it's not, it doesn't come to a surprise. It doesn't come as a surprise to her in this moment.
Correct. No, we've all suspected that she's guessed it or figured it out,
right.
But yeah, we.
Well, maybe we'll get some time filled in.
Yeah.
So
because have what we see next, but but still, like to be confirmed is like, oh, she's known all along, and she's just. But then you wonder if that's what slowly built tension between them, and why she was not as respectful of him in the recent year or something.
Yeah,
as time went on, but she decides to. Basically do the same thing to Nora that they did to Joel, like hitting her legs, and because she found a pipe or something nearby, and it's just brutal. And then just as she's kind of finished that up, we cut this flashback of Ellie waking up in a bed, and Joel's like at the door, like her bedroom door, and it's assumed back in Jackson Hole, and she's much younger.
Yeah. I was surprised we were getting this because I know what they're setting up with this flashback, but it was kind of weird. I thought they were just going to end on her just beating Nora because it kind of stays black for a while. Like they did a good job with that to like I was like, oh, that's it. So I guess this penultimate episode for next week will be the flashback.
Might be mostly flashback.
Which makes sense because we already said like. I think you even said, because I wasn't going to spoil anything, but I asked Jim, like, do you think we'll see any more of Pedro Pascal at all after episode 2? And I think you said, like, oh, yeah, I'm sure we'll still see something.
Yeah, I was just like, you don't, as an actor like that, you don't just not bring him back. I mean, so they might wait a few episodes, but then, I mean, easiest thing to do is do some flashbacks to fill in that 5 years.
Yeah.
And that looks like we're going to get maybe next episode from this. But yeah, we only have 2 more to go.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, it's exciting though. Very curious how they're going to do this flashback, and then again, I still don't know what they're going to end this season on.
Yeah.
So, still, even though I'm kind of mixed on this season, it's still very interested in what they're going to do with the rest of it. These last 2. Also, the line like that's because I don't know how much he said it in the show, but the line of Joel saying "Hey kiddo" is like that's a big thing. He said that to his original daughter,
right?
And I believe he's sent that to Ellie different times. That's a big thing for him to say. So that's a good way to end the episode, also on him saying that.
Yeah. Well, even if they did it, he did say it periodically. It's like. It's probably there's no way for it to be as many times as it was said in the game because just the game's there's a lot more to it, yeah. And you probably die and start over and hear something multiple times.
That's true.
But yeah, no. But I think a strong episode. It's good. Looking forward to these last two.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this? Or
No, I don't think so.
what about you guys, you watchers and listeners? Any thoughts about Last of Us season 2 so
No
far?
game spoilers still.
Yeah.
For Josh.
Yeah. But you can write in or leave a comment or write in at feedback@screentimepod.com. I'd like to read those, and we can share it on the pod if you have any thoughts. Yeah, and also, like we said up front, if you have an idea what you may want us to cover next,
Yeah.
either as a director on the film pod part of this or even on the TV, let us know. Or even something we should check out for what we've been watching,
For sure.
Always looking for good stuff to watch. So yeah, so let us know.
We'll talk about, I'm sure we're going to want to talk about Andor in depth when
Yeah,
it's done.
especially
So we'll
when
probably
it's
do a whole episode on that at least. The Bear is coming back soon,
Yeah, mid-June.
which is exciting. So I think we should do that. So I don't know how many weeks are in between that, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
True. Right on. Well, cool. All right. Well, thank you for watching or listening. If you like, you can like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And you can follow us with Screen Time Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And if you'd like to follow each of us on Instagram, I'm at Jay Youngbar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. We'll catch you guys next time.